11 people. What's up, my dudes? How we doing tonight? Holy cow. We're going to be vibing. We're going to be hanging out. If you guys are new to this style live stream, sorry, I need to check my little chat box over here. I'm going to pop the chat box out here. We're live. We're vibing. We're friendly. We're hyped. Things are good. We're official. Boom. Here we go. So if you guys haven't been to this style video, this is a little bit different than the normal. There we go. This is a little different than the normal live Q&A that happened last night. So if you guys are interested in like hanging out, vibing, watching some breakdowns, and getting a little nerdy, this is definitely the place for you. So as we do this, I'm actually going to be chatting as if I'm talking to like a YouTube video. So you guys are going to like hang out. You guys are going to like be able to chat with me. And then I'm going to go into like a different mode and like do this video as like a recording. As like I'm recording a YouTube video, and then what I do is I unlist this video, and then I post the video as a upload, as a normal little video, as like a subscriber breakdown. This is kind of different, kind of cool, kind of a vibe, but definitely different than last night. So yeah, Kimmy, what's up? Yeah, we're out here doing more of a nerdy breakdown on subscribers videos today, where yesterday was more of like a what's up kind of vibe, kind of hangout type of thing. And then as I was just saying, like I'll kind of get into like presentation mode, and then you guys can like super just watch me like try not to stutter, try not to blow it, try not to be super cringy, and then I'll like bounce in and out of back and forth of like chatting with you guys and then doing the video breakdown. And then we got Kimmy's in here. We got Steven. What's up, dog? We got to link up next summer, man. We're going to vibe. We're going to hang out. We're going to make it happen. Ice Cold says, what's up, guys? Just went out for the first day of my preseason. Felt good to be back out there. Let's go, dude. We vibing, says fine. How was today's snow? Today's snow was actually really freaking sick because we got to ride some like sick pow as a little bit of pow actually, and then rode some rails, got some tricks back, so it was really cool. It was definitely a good time. Thomas, what's up, dog? I'm coming out to Colorado December 5th to the 2nd to the 5th. Would love to link up and shred, dude. Yeah, a lot of the times I actually don't snowboard for myself that often. I really snowboard for myself about 1 to 2 days a week because my full-time job is actually snowboarding. Coaching snowboarding, and not just like creating content and vibe. So I actually don't get a lot of free time to shred with people, which is what I signed up for. Grandpa Bob says, love this format. Let's go, Grandpa Bob. C. Kell says, any tips on staying centered when popping off a side hit? Yes. Naturally, as you're popping off a side hit, your little like back seat, the goal is to be able to I got some popcorn in my throat. And the goal is to actually be able to have your belly button in the center between both bindings. So your center mass is between both bindings, and you achieve that by shifting your hips centered as well as flexing both knees at the same time. That's really the key to that one. So as I said, this is less of that traditional Q&A, that type of thing. This is more of a, we're going to nerd out. I got a screen pulled up just over here where we're going to break down some riders riding. And the whole idea is for you guys to be able to like understand some of the nerd and some of the terminology and some of the vibe and the hangout, as well as be able to learn from these guys and what they're doing right, what they may not be doing right, as well as submit your clip. So if you guys are interested in me breaking down your clip, the way that I'm doing it right now is that I did put it in the chat. So what you can do is you can submit your video to a YouTube channel, and then you can have it listed or unlisted, either way, public or not public. And then I'm going to be able to like open a bunch of tabs on my computer. We can watch it, we can break it down. And then when we're done with that video, I can go to the next video. That allows me just to manage this a lot easier. Gabrielle says, are you going to be doing this again? I want to send you something. Yeah, you know, I will probably do this next Wednesday as well. So definitely submit some clips. And the more clips I have, the more likely I'm to do it. If people don't submit clips, then all of a sudden I just don't do it. You know, there's no necessary need to pull something out of a hat that's not really there. So if people are interested and want to submit clips, absolutely. If they don't want to, then I don't do it. But, you know, it's kind of a bonus stream for me, honestly. I'm Dino. What's up, dog? You were in here early. What's up? He says, nice hoodie. Thanks, dog. And he says, haven't snowboarded in 9 years after my upper arm was completely broke. I slid down an icy slope and didn't see a jump as I took the last second turn. I'm starting off slow next week. Your clips are inspiring inspirational for sure, or inspiring. And it says, yeah, that's gnarly. And I hope that you figure it out and you just start slow and just vibe, build your confidence back, that kind of thing. That's definitely the biggest deal. And sorry about this, the way that I'm using this blue screen / green screen, it's not that sick. I'm going to probably have to change in the future because this thing is not getting me hyped. Aspen opens tomorrow. So stoked. I did not know that. That's dope. And then Bored Through the Pain. What's up, dog? How you been? It's been a minute. Kimmy says, just love this kind of live because it helps me break down riders' postures. Definitely. So anybody that just hopped in the chat, we're going to do subscriber breakdowns tonight. I will be filming a YouTube video. So you guys are going to like watch me do the intro. You're going to watch me break it down. And then you're going to like see me in character essentially type of thing. I mean, obviously it's still me. It's not like fake. But I'm going to be like talking to the audience, which is you, but is also like a later video. So you're going to like listen to me talk and do that. And I try not to mess up. And if I do, it's okay. I'll do it again type of thing. So you're going to do that. You're going to hang out. You're going to vibe. Also, then I'll do like an outro and that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to hang out, vibe, definitely submit your clip. It's going to be there as well. And then if you guys got any questions or anything like that, definitely submit it. I will probably bang out a bunch of the snowboard nerd content, and then I'll go and answer a bunch of guys' questions. I really think I'm going to probably be here for about 30, 40 minutes. See what we can get done. We can vibe. We can hang out. You know what I mean? Bored through the pain says, great snowshoe opens tomorrow. Vermont, let's go. I'm itching to make some turns, dude. Heck yes, that is the vibe. And then Kyle also says, let's see how many score shots I get. Yeah, right, rip. And then Todd says, happy early Thanksgiving. That is true. I forget that. The hardest thing for me with holidays is I just forget because it's like a normal day. I'm just going to go snowboard tomorrow. So I kind of just forget about that kind of thing. It says, Seabass says, yeah, boy. All right, guys. So let's hop into a YouTube intro. And then I'm going to break down 1, 2, possibly 3 to 4 videos. And then we're going to end that there. And, you know, it's usually about 20, 30 minutes. And then we'll do like a 10-minute chat after. And then I'm probably going to go to bed because I'm going to go snowboard tomorrow. Well, all right. So let's do that. Are you guys ready for some awkward cringiness? We're going to try not to make it super bad. What up, my dudes? Tommy Bennett here. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some fundamental turns. I'm going to be breaking down some park riding. And we're going to have a good time. So make sure you stay through to the end, because the whole goal for this channel is to make you as awesome as possible. So these subscriber videos, I'm literally punching in a whole bunch of nerd and trying to get as nerdy and break down as much of as possible in hopes to help these riders that we're breaking down, but also help you if you're following along. So definitely give it a thumbs up if you're liking the content. Stick to the end because there's going to be a lot of nerd. All right, let's get started. So not bad, right? Not bad, not super cringy. Let's see. I'm going to do here. Okay, so we're going to start off with some turns. Cool. I'm going to pop over to the other screen real quick, and we're going to go over to here. We're going to go over to here, and yeah. Cool. All right, guys, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to jump in. I'm going to start over. So the first video that we have here is this young lady, and her username is down here. So is it Marina? Is second season snowboarding, and her title of this 20th time on the mountain. So what's really cool about this is I'm really excited to talk about some fundamental snowboarding and giving you guys some insight into turning and very basic riding that can be applied to anybody and everybody across the board. There's so much fundamental skills that needs to happen when it comes to turns. And really, I've said this before, but when it comes to snowboarding, turns are the gateway to everything. If you want to go ride straight, you want to go ride pow, you want to go do cliffs, you want to do parks, you want to go ride steeps, it does not matter. You got to be able to get there. You got to be able to turn. You got to be able to go left. You got to be able to go right. You got to be able to manage that. You got to be able to manage speed, blah, blah. So I'm really excited about breaking down some fundamental riding today. So we're going to hop right into this. So some very basic turns, being able to, this rider's probably about a level 4 and progressing into the level 5. Essentially 4 is being able to make turns, be able to make right, left, and then change the radius of your turns. Some are big, some are small, some are long, some are not so long, short. And then with that said, going into the next step, a level 5 essentially is being able to do the intro to carving, a basic carve turn, a basic switch turn. You know, these intros to a lot of different things, intro to jumps, intro to park, that kind of thing. So with that said, she's definitely making some turns. Now, I see a lot of things that could help her become a better snowboarder, but that's obviously why we're here. So let's dive into that. But I did want to just watch her riding and get a sense of the overall movement patterns that she has. So a couple things that I'd like to see from her riding is to be able to have more dynamic range of motion. That just simply means being able to use her knees and her hips and her ankles a little bit more. As we can see, the terrain here is medium steepness, right? It's not so steep, but not super mellow, but it's actually really smooth. I can argue this is pretty smooth. So she's not having to adapt to the conditions at hand as much as she really needs to, because the conditions are actually pretty good. If the conditions were super gnarly, mogully, super bumpy, her rigidness in her boarding would just make it a little bit more challenging to navigate and control the board. So if you're used to flexing your knees down and actually getting your belly button a little bit lower, you're acting like a shock of a car. Imagine that your shock in your car only had 4 inches of range of motion. Eventually, it's gonna be a really bumpy ride. But if your shock in your car had 12 to 18 inches of range of motion, you're gonna be able to be managing a lot more of the road. And really, that's what I'd like to see here. So really just starting with your knees more flexed and allowing that flex to happen throughout the turn. Now, in addition to that, transferring from, let's see if I can get this correctly, transferring from her toe side edge to her heel side edge, she does a movement which is, we're going to go and slow it down real quick. So, come on. What are we doing? Press buttons. Normal speed, 0.25. She does a movement where she actually pulls. This camera's freaking out. She actually does a movement where her back leg lifts up to change edges. And ideally, what I'd love to see is she has the option to lean into the turn and lean into the turn to get the turn to start, and then you can lean the other way and do a little bit more of an up and weighted movement. But in addition to that, so watch this. If you can see this, so that's one option. Another option is to use knee steering, which we'll talk about here in a second. So as she goes from heel side, she actually puts pressure on, and then she turns and she more swings her back foot around, kind of like a rotor in a boat, or more like a windshield wiper. Now, what the challenging part about this is you're not getting a really good turn shape. Turn shape means being able to change directions, but she more just lifts up that back foot, swings the back foot around, and then gets in a very aggressive edge, which also means that as she's in that aggressive edge, if there was a lot of bumps and stuff, then that would be really hard. It would be really hard to manage that terrain because she has such a high edge angle. And then if there was a terrain, there'd be a lot of pressure pressing against her board, and it could cause her to fall or just struggle with steeper terrain just by making this turn right here. Watch. She like swings that back foot around. That's really challenging. Now, as we go over to here, excuse me. Oh man, I had like some popcorn. I had some popcorn, and I like it's like wrecking my my throat. Knee steering, sorry, turns. Wow, I was literally I had no idea what I was doing right there. I'm trying to find the right video that's like the most fantastic video ever. How to turn, stop doing this as soon as possible. I think it might be in here. I know. Quiet, awkward silence, right? A little weird. Okay. I think it's right here. Oh, yeah. So part of this video, we're going to witness right here as we dive into this video. I actually have this video that I posted. It's like the top 5 kind of worst postures and techniques in snowboarding and how to fix it. So right now what I'm talking about in this video, and if you ever want to go look it up, just type in Tommy Bennett turns or Tommy Bennett 5 worst postures. And then around the 11 minute mark is when we're getting into this. But I'm using this technique called knee steering. So I'm opening my shoulder. Notice that I'm pushing that front foot down, and I'm actually able to get a nice smooth turn. In addition to like being able to knee steer, one thing that you're also going to notice is my shoulder position. Notice that my shoulders are stacked over my hips and my hips are over my knees. That puts me in a super athletic position. So when I make this next turn, that I'm able to make a nice smooth turn. My board is actually creating a turn shape. I can actually travel across the hill. That allows me to have control. I don't have a large edge angle, which is going to be crazy. Notice the same thing. I'm able to turn my snowboard and create a shape. Yes, I have a tilt, but it's not significant. But that all stems from having this position of my shoulder is stacked over my board. It's actually really unique and really awesome because it puts me in a position to actually utilize my body and my board as a nice little combo versus just fighting against my board. As I make this turn, notice how stacked I am. My shoulders stacked over my hips are over my knees. I remain in that position. Look how strong and athletic that is. I'm in a position that I can handle some stuff, man. If somebody tries to fight me, I'm super athletic. Yeah, granted, I'm looking at my hand till I do the demonstration. Now, my lead shoulder is anticipating the turn in the direction that I'm going, which is going to be to the rider's left direction. But notice how that my shoulder is slightly in the lead direction, but my knees are distributing the pressure evenly between both feet. And then I get nice and stacked and lined back up. So now as we go back over to this mammoth, now where is it? There we go. We're going to watch some of these body positions here. Lead shoulders super open, contradicting the turn, leaning in, a lot of weight on the back foot, and then just up in weights. Makes that movement. Now we're back into alignment because as your lead shoulder's naturally open, you get back into alignment now, right? But now she does that lower body swing and then the shoulder is super open. And that's just going to make turns like super hard. So what I would love to see is more knee steering, allowing you to have more functional turns, changing directions, turning shape. And that direction, changing directions, why it's a freaking big deal is for riding moguls, riding icy terrain where you got to avoid the icy patches, where you got to be in the trees. You got to make shaped turns so you actually navigate around things. That's why I'm putting so much emphasis on body position, knee steering, and turn shape, is because I want her to be a better snowboarder that has more versatility in her riding to go do a lot of cool stuff, which is riding moguls if you wanted to, riding steep terrain, avoiding trees so you don't run into them, if that makes sense. So for this clip, I'd love her to use her knee more and be in a more stacked position, and she's going to have a lot more versatility. Does that sound pretty good? I think that's pretty awesome. So now we're going to actually hop over to Austin. Austin has submitted a video, and it's also, I love the name Austin, also snowboards. Love the name, by the way. Beginner board slides on beginner boxes, okay? So that's what we're looking at right now. We're going to go here. Looks like an Insta 360 type thing. Okay. A little board slide. Maybe there was multiple. Yeah. Board slide. Going into another board slide. Cool. So with this one said, I think I actually do. I'm going to go just kind of cue this up real quick. Tommy Bennett. And then just so you guys know, like as we're like vibing, hanging out, you're here during the live chat, I'm going to hop into a lot of the questions after the fact. We're just going to go through this real quick, get a bunch of nerd done, and then we're going to hop over and then chat, vibe, hang out type thing. I think so. We're watching myself in like awkwardly slow motion, which is kind of funny. Okay. All right, let's cue this up. All right, here we go. So we have Austin Always Snowboards going for a beginner board slide on beginner features. So we're going to watch this one time through. We're going to chat. We're going to nerd. We're going to geek out. And then we're going to show an example of my clip versus his clip to see if we can help Austin out between both of them. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to hop in. We're going to watch this real quick. One feature, hopping into another one. Pretty freaking awesome. So with that said, let's get right into it. So one of the very first things that I do notice that Austin is not doing is he's not not necessarily flexing down in with his knees. A lot of the times I love to flex my knees a little bit extra for two reasons. One is that it gives me more balance. As I'm really tall and somebody comes over and tries to push me, I'm not super athletic. I'm not in a super athletic position. I have a hard time balancing. But as soon as I get lower and I'm in a stronger athletic position, I have better balance. It actually makes the trick a lot easier because I'm more balanced. When I'm more balanced, I'm more likely to get the trick. The second thing is that it just looks way cooler when you have some style and you're flexing down. It just looks cooler versus being tall and out of control. It's like low and like vibing, you know what I mean? So with that said, right off the bat, just being able to sink your belly button down, Austin, that's going to be a big deal. But there's a misperception of if I'm trying to sink down, I talk about lowering my belly button. So if you guys are watching this live or you're watching this at a later date, go experiment with stand in front of a mirror, get a camera, take a selfie video, and do a squat. Essentially, what you're looking for is that your belly button is sinking down 12 inches, and you use your knees, your ankles, knees, and hips to achieve that. What a lot of times people will do is actually drop their shoulders and their eyes lower to the ground. So you feel like you're actually getting lower, but you're just changing your perception of the world to be lower. You haven't actually lowered your center of mass. So we're going to see in a video of mine here in a minute, but that's like a big deal. So that's number one, is sinking and flexing down. Okay, so let's see this. Knees are like moderately flexed, okay? Moderately flexed. If you're able to get more flex, it would just like look really cool and have better balance, and you'd be able to hold this position a little bit longer. The other cool thing about that, as you are in a more flexed position, your natural reaction is to actually extend up. If you're already tall, your natural reaction is to flex down. So if you already flexed on the box and then later down the road you want to do 180s and 360s, if you're already lower and you're used to that, then it's easier for you to pop out of tricks because you're already used to that lower position. So as much as you're working on a skill now, you can use that skill later, which is pretty dope. Okay. So we talked about body positions as far as flexing down. Now the next goal when it comes to doing a board slide is to be at 90 degrees. If you want to do a proper board slide, and for me, like on my Instagram, I don't post board slides that are like 80 degrees or that are 45 degrees and then I fall off early. It's not sick. You see people posting it online. It's not cool. You want to be proper and hold yourself to a high standard. So in this situation, and I appreciate Austin giving us this video because he wants to get better. He's here to improve. So what I would love to see is him getting his board to 90 degrees. Now, it's not that simple. It's just turn your board, right? It's really not. One of the things that he's going to have to do is there is a small little lip just before the box, and even if there's not, you're going to have to create separation from the snow that'll in airtime essentially to allow yourself to go 90 degrees. By the time you leave the snow and land on the rail or the box, you want to be at 90 degrees. So he can catch a little bit of air, which he does, and it's turning that board 90. What I'd like to see is Austin pull his lead foot back and push his back foot forward, if that makes sense. So if I had a little snowboarder here, essentially what I'm trying to do is push this foot forward and then this foot back. Now, as I do that, I actually got my board. It was hard to see in the camera, but I'm actually at 90 degrees here. So all I got to do is push this forward, and that rotates about 45 degrees, and I pull this other leg back 45 degrees. That allows me to rapidly rotate the board because each foot is doing 45 degrees of the work. It actually moves really quick, especially when it's simultaneous versus one leg having to do all the work. You want to move both legs in opposition to get to 45 degrees. So the lead foot pulls back. The back foot pushes forward. That's going to get you a 90 degrees, like so flipping fast. It's not even funny. And then here, one thing that I love that Austin's doing, he's actually keeping his spine upright. A lot of people, as we just talked about, flex forward, and that makes you hunch over, and it makes it really hard to get the upper lower body separation. Another thing that he's doing really good is his lead shoulder is remaining pointed down the fall line as his lower body rotates. That's actually a significantly big deal because if your lead shoulder rotates and then your legs rotate and they're all parallel or stacked together, it's really hard to come out your dominant direction. So by having upper lower body separation, he's able to come out his dominant direction. Freaking awesome. And let's see if the second one's a little better. I don't think it was. Yeah. Cool. So now if you guys wanted to be more awesome at board slides, I do have a how to board slide video. This thing was a good time. How to board slide the ultimate beginner guide. It's actually a really sick video. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys a couple things real quick that makes this super awesome. So we're going to go over here. We're going to press command just F for fun. And then I don't know who this dude is. He's talking a lot. He's got a nice little Patagonia jacket on, but we're going to skip him. So in this video, I just start talking about getting separation. Ooh, look at this. Shoulder there. This foot, 90 degrees. I'm getting my body primed and ready to do board slides, and I can use the tactic of being on the slopes. Granted, you don't want to get used to being on your heel side and slipping out, but notice where my spine is. My spine's pretty upright, but also notice that my knees are flexed. Pretty awesome. And then get out of it. Upper lower body separation. We saw Austin do that. Okay, I'm a little zeechy there. Don't do that, dude. Now I'm doing that same thing where I'm trying to get on that box and I'm trying to pivot the board. But look how 90 I am. I pulled this back foot back and this front foot forward. Let's see if we can watch it in like 0.25 motion. Let's go back just a little bit. Okay, how do we do this? Okay. That one was not a good example because it was more of the back foot pivoting forward. Let's see if we can see on the next one where we can. Here we go. Yep. Back foot pulls back. Lead foot pulls back. Back foot pushes forward. Right to 90. Right to 90. That's the goal. Right to 90 degrees. 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Now, as I go into this next one, I do a little heel side turn, allowing me to kind of prep into this. And then, boom, get 90, upper lower body separation. My knees are flexed. My hips are down. I'm balanced between both feet, but I'm able to vibe and then just land it. Let's see. Do I actually jump into it yet? Boom. Boom. Let's go to a little bit fast mo. Land, 90, boom. Cool. So that's really the goal for this one, is to get that board across the fall line. Cool. Awesome. Good job, Austin. I appreciate you submitting the clips, my dude. What's up, dudes in the chat? What's up? What's up? What's up, dudes? How we doing? We vibing? We vibing? Hopefully we're getting a little nerdy out here. What is this? We're going to replay this one. All right, so we are going to do, I think it's going to be our last one. So it's going to be 3 videos possibly. We've been recording for 29 minutes, been talking for a while, so maybe we went super in depth. So we're gonna do this last one. This is one is more of a hand plant, kind of a good vibe type thing. And then once we're done with that, I'm gonna come hang out and vibe with you guys for a few minutes. All right, so we got a hand plant variation from our boy ZNZ Backyard. Let's go. Little back plant, little hand plants, little vibes, little question marks. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. Ooh, okay. Fun. All right, so we're gonna go back here. I wish this would auto replay. All right, so this is a really cool video and a little bit different. And what I love about this one is that with a hand plant, it's a safety trick, which is really cool because relatively safe trick, right? If you just do a couple things super smooth and super easy, it's not that big of a deal. So I love that he's going for this. Now, I find it way more challenging, to be honest, to be actually doing tricks on my heel side than my toe side edge. So just keep that in mind. This style is more challenging, especially. Yeah, let's watch this. Okay. So one thing that I'm seeing right out of the get-go is that ideally I would love for him to make a wider turn and then go more perpendicular to the transition, meaning hitting it if this is the transition, hitting it more straight on. What you're gonna notice is that he comes in at an angle, he does a lot of skidding, so he loses some speed, totally fine, but then he ends up trying to hand plant, and then he slides down almost across the slope just a little bit. The whole goal for a hand plant is to get all your momentum up and all of your momentum on your hand, and then your whole body goes up and over, and you come down. If I'm doing that while my hand is sliding out on the snow, ice, whatever it is, it just makes things 10 times harder. So you're gonna see he's starting to make that turn, but his momentum's hasn't redirected fully yet. So then, if you can see this real quick, he puts his lead hand down, so he's sliding. He starts to rotate, of course, but his momentum's carrying him down and across the hill, puts his first hand down, second hand down, and he's still moving down the hill. So that's just the number one thing. Think about it as I'm trying to go straight up, straight down, and it stems from a nice wide turn into it. So much more manageable. Okay, so that's number one thing. Get the line dialed. We're vibing. Dialed. Now, in the next position, you really got to identify, are you trying to put your lead hand down, get your hand plant, and come back down? Are you trying to put both hands down and then fling your feet above you? Definitely both are options, especially as if it's an intro to hand plants. I've never done hand plants, but you want to be able to distinguish what plant are we doing. It's hard to tell what you're trying to do. You get a lot of spring and momentum off the nose, and I'd love to see this hand plant right here. Let me see if I can find this. I have a hand plant in a video that we're going to watch real quick because I have a hand plant variation that's actually super manageable. I think it's this one. I'm trying to, oh, there it is. Yep, cool. Thought so. Oh, Butters. Okay, now let's just compare what I was doing, what I'm doing to what he was doing. Z and Z. I'm redirecting my momentum. Now I've actually created a carve turn allowing me to go straight into the hill. Now I'm going straight up the mountain. I put my lead hand down and I do a nice little hand plant. I think I have I don't. I thought I had a slow motion of that. So we're going to pop this into slow motion real quick. 0.25. Boom. So I could do this on my heel side edge. I can do this on my toe side edge. Either of them is very feasible. But what I am doing is I'm distinctly taking all my momentum, putting it on my lead hand. All of my lower extremities, my feet, my board are now pivoting over my lead hand. So I'm actually getting my whole body to go over my lead hand. And then my backhand grabs my board. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that my shoulders are aligned like a cartwheel. As I go in and as I come back out, I remain in a cartwheel position. That allows my shoulders, hips, and knees to stay stacked. Anytime my shoulders move, I'll start to spin out, and I'm not actually able to get like a full hand plant super easily. This is a little bit more of an easy option. So let's go ahead and watch this. I fling the nose like he did. Notice I'm still stacked. My board's not rotating. I get into this full hand planted position. All my weight is on my lead hand. Only for a very short amount of time. I get my other hand to grab the board because I want to make it look as cool as possible for a nice little screenshot or something. Who knows what we're doing? And then I fling out. So all I would say for the other video in ZZ, ZZ would be really distinguish that turn. And then in this position, instead of having your back hand reach the ground, your lead hand touches the ground, your back hand grabs the board, and then you go back the way you entered, but it all stems from the line coming into it. Then you won't have this twisted, weird thing. Does that make sense? All right, we're vibing. Cool. Do this. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out during this little live chat. I'm going to do that again. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. In the nerd, we went super in depth in some really fundamental and some other, I don't want to say that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out during this. Sometimes I just mess up and I got to figure it out, you know? Thank you guys so much for hanging out during this subscriber breakdown. We definitely got super nerdy. So if you guys enjoy the content, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to come and hang out during this live, because we are doing a low live stream right now for this, you guys can definitely come and hang out on Wednesdays, but I don't do them every Wednesday. So put your post notifications on so you don't miss them. And then the last thing I'm going to ask is submit a video. If you want to come hang out, you want to go vibe, you want me to break down your writing, submit a video. It's going to be down, linked in the description below. So, on that note, nothing but love. We out. All right, not bad. I'm actually going to stop the recording now. Stop. There we go. Hold on. There we go. So, that's the recording is stopped. We're going to go over here. We're going to go to this one. We're going to go to I spelled Berman wrong. There we go. Maybe we'll chat a little bit. We'll hang out. Words is hard, man. Yeah, we're not watching this in 0.25 the whole time. This would be rough. We gotta watch this in normal. You gotta get the energy. We gotta feel how freaking sendy these dudes are. That's such a gnarly angle, by the way. So yeah, all right. So I'm gonna hop in. I want to hop in, chat with chat real quick, say what's up, vibe for a little bit. Then I'm gonna go finish another video. I'm gonna edit another video. I have one video that I'm really excited about. It's like my top do's and don'ts for the mountain. And one of them, I literally get like the bar like absolutely like beamed on my head. You know when you're like getting on a chairlift and then somebody just drops the bar and they don't ask, and they're not like, hey man, you mind if I put the bar down? I hate heights. They're just like, put the bar down. And I like to like ratchet my binding or unratchet my bindings a little bit. So I get on the chairlift and I lean forward, and then people like put the bar down and just smack you in the head. And you're like, yo, bro. So I talk about like my favorite do's and don'ts. And the video is actually kind of funny. It's pretty hilarious. So I might be dropping that one on Friday, or I have another awesome vlog that I work on my own riding and do some tail presses, nose presses. But while of course I do the nose press and tail presses, I'm coaching you guys on what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. So it's not just watch me snowboard, because I don't really dig that, but it is more like, hey, I'm learning something and I want to take you through the journey. So either of those videos I think are going to be super awesome for Friday. And I've been doing a lot more of the premiere where you guys can like hang out, vibe, and we can talk, which has been really cool just to like hang out with people. I've really enjoyed that, and getting to connect with the community. That's important to me. I want to like vibe with my dudes, you know? All right, so Chris Van Awesome says, ew, forward lean. I'm not a fan of forward lean. A lot of people like forward lean, and I think there's specific use cases for forward lean. I think forward lean is phenomenal. Words are hard. I think forward lean is phenomenal for certain situations, certain people. Yes, definitely. But at the same time, I don't use it. How busy do you think Keystone will be early tomorrow? Grandpa Bob, I don't think it's going to be that busy because I feel like people are going to do the family thing. But if you get out early in general, it's probably going to be pretty good. I was thinking about riding Keystone tomorrow and making a video. So I'm going to film a video tomorrow, and then I'm going to send it to my boy Matt to edit. So I might be there tomorrow. I haven't decided what I'm going to film yet. So I got a busy night. I got a busy day. I got a lot of things going on. Yeah, what? It says, hey, yo, from the up night shift. What's up, dog? How we doing? And then Neo says, every Tuesday was insane. I'm not sure what you're talking about, my dude. Obviously, I'm jumping in like halfway through the chat. Like, I literally have no idea what's going on. But what's up, dudes? And then I'm Dino says, the art of flight got me into snowboarding. I love Travis Rice. You like his stuff. Yes, Travis Rice was like a huge inspiration for me when I was an up-and-coming athlete. Definitely didn't go pro or anything by any means, and definitely not a pro snowboarder now at all. With that said, Travis Rice was like that dude, and I loved his style because he was so good in competitions, so good in rails, can send big jumps, and then he does backcountry, and he's like a definition of like a versatile snowboarder. And in my style of snowboarding, I want to be that kind of dude that can go snowboard anything. Like, that's the goal. Like, I don't snowboard everything, but my goal is to try to be as well-rounded as possible. And so with that said, he's a freaking god. There's a lot of dudes like that. Ooh, yeah, what says snowboard socks, fabric softener or not? Ooh, I don't know, but I love marine. I don't ever use fabric softener, and I don't know if I should or don't. I just don't, like, I don't know. I pop the stuff in and just forget about it and leave, But with that said, merino wool socks are my favorite. They don't get as stinky. They freaking last a long time. I'm a big fan of merino wool. Sebas says, Grandpa Bob, I found that holidays are pretty chill in the mornings, but it'll be wicked busy. You never know. I love snowboarding Christmas Day because no one's snowboarding there and you get to go ride when no one's there. New Year's Day, because everyone's hungover, whatever. I get to go snowboard. I don't party. I don't do that. But I get to go snowboard the next day and no one's there. Probably like one of the greatest times ever. Big fan of that as well. And then you guys were talking about forward lean, 15 degrees of forward lean. What? That's aggressive. Not sure how much. 7. Seen several YouTubers recommend. I'm going to tilt mine this winter. So let's talk about forward lean just a little bit. Forward lean essentially is as you have, we're going to watch this real quick. So you got these high backs right here. They're high back. You can actually put your high back angle forward, either a lot or a little or none or some. And what that right there is called forward lean. So with forward lean, what it naturally does is applies pressure to the back of your leg, which does two things. It allows your knees to it helps force your knees to flex or to bend. A lot of people ride really stiff and really tall. So as a hack for instructors or coaches, we can force somebody to bend their knees by pushing the high backs forward. The other thing about it is it's extremely responsive. If I have an inch play between my boot and my high back, I have a lot of room for error or a lot of room before I actually engage in anything. But if I had forward lean and I subtracted all of that wiggle room and I just had pressure, so now I barely apply pressure to the high back because I have tension already built in from my equipment to my body. As soon as I move, I'm going to get a response. So for the right person, it is phenomenal because you're that dude who doesn't flex your knees. This is a great training tool to get you to flex your knees. Fantastic. If you're the person who loves to make aggressive heel side carves, you can actually apply a lot of pressure to the high back without having to lean over so flipping much that you're losing your center of mass outside of the board and you're losing the tension where you slip out. So you can actually be in a more upright position while getting a higher tilt because you can pressure the high back. Super awesome. And surprisingly, a lot of pipe riders will do that because if you're in the pipe and you have no forward lean, you're going to have to lean in really far to get that edge angle you're looking for, or you're going to really have to dramatically lift up your toes to get the edge angle. But what if I was able to get the edge angle without significantly leaning over? Kind of sounds like a win-win, right? So super awesome. And especially in the pipe, you want a lot of precision. You want a lot of response in your equipment. So high-end pipe riding, low-end pipe riding, carving, those things are super awesome for that. Now, the reason I specifically do not do any forward lean is simply because I like the room for error. Let's say that I have about half an inch of play between my boots and my binding. With that said, as I'm on a rail, what if I was off by half an inch? Well, guess what? My board hasn't engaged yet because of that space and the lack of forward lean. So I try to get my forward lean as vertical as possible. So I have a little bit more room for error. Now that's just my style of riding. I don't want my stuff to be so responsive on rails and jumps that it causes me to crash because I wasn't precise that one time accidentally. At the end of the day, I try to be a precise snowboarder, but there is no perfect snowboarder out there that's going to do something 100% right. So I like the room for error. Man, I was off by a little bit. I'm not going to die. That's really like my own riding style, like rails, like jumps. I like that. Now, granted, do I have to apply more pressure or do I have to go further over to actually get my body to do what I want it to do? Well, and the answer is yes. But to me, moving over just a little bit is so insignificant that I'm not even worried about that like at all. I'm just trying to find a video real quick. I'm trying to find a video. Carb? There's supposed to be a V there. Yeah, dang guys. Hi, my name is Tommy Bennett, and I do not grab Tindy. This is my boy Jack. We're going to skip through this a little bit. Okay. Now, with that said, yes, I have a little bit more room for error. But is it even noticeable that I don't have forward lean? Because I'm able to carve. I'm able to jump. I'm able to carve. I'm literally carving, doing all this stuff. Like, it's so hard to really tell, but you have to adapt and adjust and find all this stuff. Like, I'm getting carve, adjust. Like, I might have to move a little bit further, but to me, it's so insignificant that I don't notice the loss of performance because it's such a small percentile. But when it comes to rails, I notice it. And the beautiful thing about snowboarding is you want to cater your riding, or you want to cater your board, your equipment, your board, boots, bindings to how you ride. You can literally Ryan Napton get a board that's super wide so he can make these gnarly carves. You can literally get the side cut radius to be excessively long so his carves are longer. You can put 3 straps on your binding so you get the most amount of response. All of that is super cool. You do what you want. That's the beautiful thing about snowboarding is you can cater your equipment, cater your style to what you want to do in the application, the outcome. It's not wrong. There's no wrong thing about riding forward lean. Now, the question is, what is it for you? That's really the question. Do you want it? Do you not? I don't. Is it useful? Heck yes. We should want real ham on forward lean. I should make a video on forward lean. Does that make sense? Anybody disagree or agree with that? Like at the end of the day, forward lean is awesome and not forward lean. Lean is awesome too. Forward lean gives you more leverage over your heel edge. Yeah, Steven, exactly. And that's what I was saying about half pipe riders. They're able to get more leverage without having to be in a compromised body position that's going to cause them problems. It's actually really cool. No, not everybody does it, but there are pros that do it. Love forward lean, says Noah, for carving. Oh, totally, dude. Totally. Carving, it's fun. As we're watching people like get bodied in the background, it's kind of crazy. Woo! Oh, dude, look at that. He's like, oh, dude, that's so sick. Or, yep, thanks. Cool. I'm just trying to get my, yep, you do you, LOL, bored through the pain. Exactly, right? Like, this dude's, like, literally riding in the streets and on a street, literally riding on a street. You do you, right? Like, it's sick. That's why I love snowboarding. Now, I am going to make a video about, like, the do's and don'ts on the mountain, do's and don'ts in the park, and it's more like socially and culturally acceptable versus not. And there's a lot of stuff that people do that have no idea that is not cool. And I want to make a video about that so like people don't make fun of you behind your back. Because I tell you right now, there's people posting stuff online all the time. It's like, yo, that's not really like culturally acceptable. But then it's up to you. Do you want to kind of go by that and try to like not be made fun of behind your back and called a whatever name? Or not. And I think at the end of the day, having that education is my job to help people and give you as much opportunities just to understand what the heck's going on as possible. Let's see. It really depends on your riding style, skill level, if you like flex or how much flex. Exactly. So, yeah, it's been a little bit of a vibe, my dudes. Well, I'm going to end that there. He's talking. Oh, wow. Wow. But I am going to end that there. It's been a sick time. Like I said, this is a nice little bonus stream. I could definitely do the live that like breakdown on my own, but it's fun to be able to like just talk to you guys, vibe with you guys, do that, and then if it happens to be a video, cool. If it happens to be a live stream, cool. It's not at the end of the day. That shot was sick, by the way. Hold on. This one right here. Oh, look at this. Not this one. Ready for it? This shot is so sick. Oh. Also, half pipe riding is gnarly. I only grabbed Tindy until I got this explanation. I have never, but gotta know why you are so against it. You know, it's just it's like at the end of the day, for me and my content, I want to be contributing positively to the industry, and I want to educate and get people to understand, what snowboard culture is and try to understand certain aspects of snowboarding. And there's certain things in snowboarding that is just considered uncool. Well, I don't necessarily just want to be that dude who's doing uncool stuff because I want to contribute positively to the industry. I don't want to be taken away or like being laughed at behind my back because I'm like doing these things. Like at the end of the day, I love snowboarding so much that I want to give to it and not just take from it. I want to get back. And that's why I love the content that I create because it is helping people. People come up to me and say, you taught me my first 360. You taught me how to turn. You got me into snowboarding. That blows my mind. That's even a thing that we can do over the internet. Like it absolutely blows my mind. So I want to help everybody to understand what is going on. And then as much as like I'm against Tindy, I think it's funny because like if you're a Tindy, like you just don't do it and it becomes a joke and it's kind of fun and it's that, but I'm not going to grab Tindy because I want to like lead people in the right direction, And so if I'm a coach I need to set the standards high. I need to educate my athletes on what is cool and what is not cool. What is going to get you docked in a competition for doing something that's lame versus do this grab that's going to get you more points, right? So I come from a coaching background of like, you could lose points for grabbing this versus that because of that cultural expectations, right? And so with that said, again, I'm just like, it's funny and I joke about it all the time, but I also want to like be positive towards the community, if that makes sense. I enjoy making videos to show people how to board on a budget. Yeah, exactly. And that's something that, at the end of the day, snowboarding is a really expensive, challenging sport. There's so many things, like, to even live up in the mountains is insane. I have to have multiple jobs to be able to like do this. Like, it's not something that's just a cakewalk. Like, I pay a lot in rent. Granted, I pay for what I get, and I get to be 15 minutes away from the resorts. That to me is fantastic because I get to go snowboard every day and I don't have to drive that. Granted, it's really expensive to be up here. So I think snowboarding is really challenging. And so I love that you make content like that. I want to make a video about like snowboarding on a budget. I think there's a lot of opportunities, like recycled sports type places and consignment places that can get you, to ride. And like Copper, one thing they do is they allow you to, they've done in the past, I think they're doing it again, which is funny. That's a good question, right? Fine, that's funny. But I don't know where I was going with that. But then Find also says, what about Method? Isn't that Tindy? Well, you also have that thing that's like, Method is such an iconic trick. Now you have like new school Method, which is between the bindings. Then you have old school Method. But that's like one of the exceptions. If you do it right, it's cool. But a lot of people try methods and they have really terrible methods. I would rather have not do a method versus do a bad method. And so that's kind of the one exception I would say is like, yeah, you could grab outside of the bindings in that position if you do it right and you make it look sick. But that's like method's like the only one. And method is such an iconic snowboard trick that it's like, okay, but I agree. We just saw one right there. Noah says, I'm really thankful for your content because lessons are expensive and your videos are the next best thing. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, like I'm a fully certified snowboard instructor and coach and nerd. I've been doing this for 25 years. Like I've been at this grind for a long time. So I have a lot of years of experience, a lot of years. And I'm just trying to pass it on through a form that helps as many people as possible. Like that's definitely good. Carlos says, I boarded down with a broken collarbone, no sled. Oh, wow, dude. I broke my back in 3 places and no sled either. Odd flex, right? Right? Carlos, it's an odd flex. You're like, it's gnarly. Well, I love this. I've never done this, but I want to do this. When it's so cold, you can take boiling water and it will do that. Sounds dope. Carlos Savage, right? Exactly, dude. 100%. What a savage. Dino says +1. Let's go. Cool. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to end that there. I know I already said this earlier, but you guys are amazing. Like, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and giving me an opportunity just to vibe with you guys and talk about those things. Like, obviously, Fine knows that I'm against Tindy enough. He knows me enough to know that I'm against Tindies, but then I also have an opportunity to discuss that and come from my perspectives. And that's why the whole like live stream thing is actually really cool because we get to have a conversation and not just be a one-way street. You can ask me questions. What about this? What about that? Like that is really cool. I really love that opportunity just to like chat and vibe and give you my perspective. And at the end of the day, I'm going to do the content that I feel is best for me and what I'm trying to achieve. Other people do other content. Totally cool. We're all doing our own thing. And I just want to create content that I believe in, that I appreciate, or not that I appreciate it. I want to believe content that I believe. I'm creating content I believe in and how I think I can contribute most to the snowboard community. That's what I want to do. And sometimes it's a vlog. Sometimes it's educational. Sometimes it's sometimes that. But I just want to like do it my way. And that's the beautiful part about the world. Just do what you want. Dan says, I'm going snowboarding for the first time in December and been binging your videos. I get home from work and you're live. Hell yeah, let's go. Well, unfortunately, I'm about to leave that. And Fine says, I appreciate it all, my man. Yeah, and I love those questions. Like, I'm not shying away from those questions by any means. Like, you want to know why I don't grab Tindy? You want to know why I feel about this? I think it's it's really cool to be able to have that conversation. So for the 19,000th time, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go edit a video. I'm going to go take some melatonin. Is that what it's called? Ooh, wouldn't that be funny? Melatonin? No, it's not mellow, bro. But I don't know. I don't know what else I have to say. Besides, you guys are awesome. And I'll be riding Keystone tomorrow. Say what's up. Come say hi. Merch coming soon. I am literally got hoodies coming soon. If you guys want to pick up a Benetech hoodie or sticker, merch is coming soon. I'm really excited. Everybody's been asking about this, so eventually I'm gonna pop them out. So, all right, guys, love you. Nothing but love. Love you all. Love all over the place. You guys are fantastic, amazing. And Dan, you can just rewind this whole thing and watch it. Then you can start over. That's the best thing about YouTube is you can start over and watch it. We got nerdy. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave. All right, bye. Well, I don't know how to leave because I don't know how to end this thing. All right, nothing but love. Peace out, dudes. Bye. Bye. Sorry.